All right, so this video is called The Worst Hotel in Las Vegas. And as a kid, I was pretty big on Vegas, just the lights, all the different things going on. They had the Blue Man Group, Hakkasan, MGM Grand. I was staying at all these different hotels in Vegas as a kid just because I liked the environment. I'd never stayed here, and I think this place might be the only place on the strip that doesn't allow smoking on the property. That's the one thing I know they do different from everybody else, but other than that, I don't know why they would say this place is the
It's
worst.
2010. If you stand right here, just off this hotel pool in Las Vegas, at a specific time of day, you could die.
Oh, it's because probably the sun radiating off of the glass. Maybe that would be like the only thing I could think of. Get out!
Same goes for this spot right here on East Cheap in London. Cause of death, these two buildings respectively. Well, technically the sun reflecting off of the windows of these two buildings respectively.
So what I'm hearing is it's just like when kids pull out the magnifying glass and burn ants, but it's like not God doing it, but the sun, I guess you could say. It kind of works the same way, right? It's just a bigger magnifying glass, and we're the ants.
And to add to this truly odd phenomenon, it all traces back to one very stubborn man. Why? How? What?
A bizarre beam of light radiates onto the street.
It's like being under a magnifying glass.
You were literally being burned.
Some have managed to fry an egg.
It got up to 92.6 degrees.
That's Celsius.
This was an attack by the Death Ray.
Enter a story revolving around fascinating physics phenomena, reckless architecture, melting steel, and burned human flesh.
And what's crazy about this too is that the pool is right here. So this is like the worst place to have this thing built. Like, I don't know if this was out on the street, they had the dude's car getting burnt. That would be totally different from actually killing somebody. The pool is where people actually hang out at. So this could be insane and kill a whole bunch of people.
This is the weird world of solar death rays. This is Bill Pintus, a lawyer from Chicago who enjoys spending time in Las Vegas every now and then. He's chilling at the Vdara Hotel on the Strip. He takes a little swim in the pool, then returns to his lounge chair. Martin Lindsay drives into the city for some errands. It's a hot, sunny day. He parks his Jaguar right behind 20 Fenchurch Street on East Cheap before heading off for about an hour.
Ooh, that's a nice car
By
too.
afternoon, it's really, really hot in Vegas. Bill doesn't mind the escalating heat until suddenly...
I wonder how many gamma rays come off of that direct sunlight off of the window. I mean, obviously this is gonna kill somebody if it gets too hot, but if it doesn't kill someone, how much radiation exposure would that be, I wonder?
his hair starts burning. Martin returns to his beloved car. only
Martin has no hair, so he's cool.
pictures of it. He comes closer and notices the car's body is partially melted. Bill's hair, head, and legs are burned. He rushes to the shade of an umbrella, but it offers little relief. The sun is so intense and blistering that no matter where he goes, he can't seem to find an escape.
Oh, I didn't even think about the fact that it's such a big area that it would probably cover so much more than, like, let's say a magnifying glass. So if the sun beams down on one of these glass like windows, it's going to cover an area way bigger than a magnifying glass, obviously, but it's just something I didn't think of.
Both of these stories actually happened.
It's completely warped. You can get your hand underneath here and you can get your hand in here. It's absolutely...
That's probably like, what, an
Both
$85,000
incidents are
car?
due to a phenomenon called solar convergence, or much cooler, solar death rays.
Death Ray.
The physics behind it is fairly simple. When parallel light rays strike a parabolically curved surface, they are all reflected to a single point known as the focal point. The distance between the surface and the focal point is called focal length, similar to the focal length of a camera lens. Depending on how stretched or compressed the parabola curve is, the focal point changes. Either way, the result is one concentrated, very hot beam of light, sometimes capable of melting objects and causing serious burns. These rays can even
Maybe
melt
even
rocks.
death.
On YouTube, you'll find numerous videos of people showcasing their DIY home-built death ray reflectors.
It's a nice turkey burger.
In the cases of Bill and Martin,
Dude, that would have been a crazy Saw trap. It's like Jigsaw captures you, and then he puts a martini in your hand and puts you in Las Vegas with a bunch of hot girls around. You're just sitting there like, oh my gosh, this is like the time of my life. And then you just see like Jigsaw's face on like a blimp, and he's playing in speakers. He's like, now all you've got to do is escape the pool. And like you can't escape, and all you do is burn from the windows.
the reflective curved glass facade of the Vardara Hotel and the facade of 20 Fenchurch in London were responsible. The focal points of both buildings happen to be precisely where humans interact. Luckily, these
That's the
particular
problem.
death rays only occur sporadically. The alignment of the sun and the parabolic surface have to be just right. But a few hours of death raying on a random Thursday can do more than enough damage. Several reports of burned hair, melted plastic, extreme sunburns, deformed vehicles, and charred doormats went viral. One journalist even fried an egg in front of 20 Fenchurch to demonstrate the intense heat.
It is so hot. It is so hot. There you go. He has just cooked that egg on a frying pan on the streets of London.
Fortunately,
Let's get
in
some
the
bacon
cases of the
next.
two buildings, no one was critically injured, at least physically. Martin might be a little traumatized from seeing his jack all burned up. If, for example, a baby had been inside the car, the outcome would have been far more serious. And luckily, no one fell asleep at the hotel pool in Vegas long enough to get seriously burned or even killed. Reports show that
I don't know if you could even fall asleep long enough for that to even kill you. Once it probably hit like 110, 120, your body is like, dude, wake up. This is so much pain. We can't take this. Get out of here.
the temperatures soared up to 117 degrees Celsius on East Cheap, while at the Vardara, temperatures increased by 20 degrees Celsius around the pool.
Oh, wait, did they say that was...
So the temperature
Hold on, how
soared up
much?
to 1
Oh, whoa, Celsius is a whole different ball game, dude. I thought that was
by
Fahrenheit.
20 degrees Celsius around the pool. Not to be Captain Obvious, but that seems like some seriously design, right? All of this could have been avoided with proper planning and a few design adjustments. So who is responsible? As it turns out, one guy designed both buildings. This is the Uruguayan architect Rafael Vignoli. He seems to really enjoy his parabolical shapes. Reports show that he was even aware of the problem way before the Vardara was constructed. The windows of the hotel had been preemptively covered with a custom film to reduce the sun's effects by 70%, which clearly didn't help all that much. So considering that Vignoli was well aware of the issue by the time the Vardara was built, why would he make the same mistake again when designing 20 Fenchurch?
Money.
Walkie Scorchy, or the Fry Scraper. Gotta love British media.
It is ridiculous. You don't need to go on holiday, basically. I'm going to Croatia in a couple of weeks. I think I might just pitch a tent down here and actually sunbathe here. It's really good.
In 2013, Vignoli gave The Guardian a legendary interview in
Ew, what's going on with Vignoli's back? Brother, you gotta go see a chiropractor.
which he explained himself. That was a completely different problem, said Vignoli, insisting he was following a master plan that specified arc-shaped towers. We pointed out that would be an issue too, but who cares if you fry somebody in Las Vegas, right? Regarding the Walkie Scorchy, he said, I knew this was going to happen, but there was a lack of tools or software that could be used to analyze the problem accurately. Actually, there were many tools available to architects to avoid solar convergence issues at the time, but somehow he didn't stop talking at this point during the interview and just went on. When it was spotted on a second design iteration, we judged the temperature was going to be about 36 degrees, but it's turned out to be more like 72 degrees.
That's a very big difference. That's like saying, oh, it's a scorcher outside today. We've got temperatures of 92. And then for some reason, oh my gosh, guys, actually everyone stay inside. It's actually 182 degrees. That's freaking crazy. That's a totally different amount.
Calling it the death ray, because if you go there, you might die. It is phenomenal, this thing. Phenomenal is kind of an odd choice of words when describing that a thing you made could burn people to death. But
And what's crazy about that too is there are still going to be idiots that show up just to see this thing. Like if I had heard this building was going 115 degrees Celsius and you could die by going, I'm staying at the house. But some people are like, what, dude, really? 150 degrees Celsius? Dude, I gotta go see what that's all about. And then they end up on Fox 5. On Fox 5.
Naturally, Vignoli wasn't done here.
When I first came to London years ago, it wasn't like this. Now you have all these sunny days. So you should blame this thing on global warming too, right?
So many hot takes.
Yeah, sure, it's
such a
global
short
warming's fault, not yours.
Raphael Vignoli passed away in 2023, leaving some unresolved questions about his designs. 20 Fenchurch was awarded the title of the worst building in the UK in 2015. If you Google solar convergence today, a planning advice document on the matter by the City of London is the top result. Side of the walkie-talkie was outfitted with special sunblinds.
Oh, it does look like a walkie-talkie.
Permanent awnings were installed on the upper floors, while a brise soleil was added to the remaining glass facade. In Vegas, next to the non-reflective film that was applied to the glass facade of the Vdara, hotel staff provided umbrellas and pot plants at the pool. And despite the name, solar death rays can also be quite practical. For instance, parabolic reflectors can channel sunlight to dark places. This effect is used in a project in New York City where solar reflectors light an underground space. Parabolic reflectors outside harness sunlight, directing it toward the focal point. This concentrated light is then refracted multiple times and directed to an underground space. Another parabolic mirror at the end spreads it evenly throughout the space. Or
Okay, that's
this
cool.
solar furnace in France.
The only thing I'd say, though, is in this scenario, couldn't the heat just burn through the umbrellas, or would it be because of some sort of mesh that they make the umbrellas out of that it wouldn't hit this? And when they're not here, what about when they're walking here or here or here where the umbrellas aren't touching them and they can still get exposed by the sun? They'd still burn?
And directed to base. Or take this solar furnace in France. The concentrated heat evaporates water to generate power. Temperatures at the focal point can reach up to 4,432 degrees Celsius. Vignoli would be proud. When designing buildings, a strong foundation in physics and math is clearly essential. Brilliant is an excellent platform.
Oh my gosh, here we go. Okay, so I think that's pretty much the video. This was a great video. I had seen the Vdara and I was wondering why on earth he would say that this was the worst hotel ever, because as I had recalled, the Vdara was super clean. They didn't allow smoking or anything like that, so I was wondering what they had done to get on this guy's bad side, but I guess we had found out.